And welcome back to the Delaware Boys Dynasty Football Podcast, with your host in the top left and right corner. Ryan's looking very festive today with a Pelicans button up. In the bottom, as always, AJ and Frankie. Welcome back, boys.
Good to be back.
Thank you. Glad to be back as usual.
Glad to be back. Glad to be talking football with the boys. Last podcast, we covered the AFC West, so we're going to jump right into the NFC West. I'm going to start with the team that's probably had the most – I'll say turmoil to their roster due to fantasy roster. And that is with the Russell Wilson trade. So we'll jump right into Seattle. I think everybody loses value in Seattle. Backfield is a mess. You don't know who's going to get carries right off the jump. Wide receivers are now going to be playing with Drew Lock or Geno as opposed to playing with the Hall of Famer and Russell Wilson. They did add Noah Fant. Not sure if that's an upgrade over Gerald Everett. We'll see how it all plays out. But let's get started. Is anybody excited about anything in Seattle?
I think the only thing you can really hold on to – my bad. I think the only thing you can hold on to is DK Metcalf at this point. Just hope they get a quarterback soon. DK is the only one I'm still excited about. The backfield scares me right now. They're said to run out of committee. Pete Carroll said he doesn't mind a committee. That worries me. Don't really want to have anything to do with that. So, I don't know. Maybe just DK for me. That might be about it.
Yeah, I like DK still. Not really going out and buying him. But Kenneth Walker, I'd be pretty ecstatic to have as a stash down on your bench. Wouldn't want him as a starter, but pretty excited to see what he can do there. Pete Carroll's always been a run-heavy coach.
I agree.
Yeah, I'd say DK is probably about the only guy I'm excited about in that roster, and even I'm not too excited about just because of the quarterback situation. We touched on Drew Lock a little bit on the AFC West pod last week or last episode. Ruined that Broncos offense with all the talent they have around there. 19 points per game isn't something that I think is too fantasy relevant for anybody. So DK I'm out on. I'm not even really looking to get Kenneth Walker because I don't think he's going to be super relevant this year. And I don't think Pete Carroll's long-term coach for that team. So even if he's a run-heavy coach, I don't think Pete Carroll's going to be around much longer.
Yeah, it seems like you're drafting Kenneth Walker, goes 41 second round. But we all got to remember, too, that Rashad Penny was beaten out by a seventh round, undrafted guy in Chris Carson. It happens. Will Walker find a mold early? I don't see why not. To most, he was the best running back last year in college football. Won the award for the best running back. DK, I think, is a great buy at the moment. His price has dropped drastically. You see him going in second rounds last year. Now I saw him go mid-fourth, close to the fifth round. I would pay that just to stash it, just to see if he's paid and gets a QB paired with him, or if he leaves. I think he
didn't show up to OTAs today, right?
Yeah, he did not. He did not show up to mandatory OTAs. No, he did not.
Contract year.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm not covering too much of the Seattle Seahawks. Like you said, nothing exciting going on with poor QB play. I think this is a definite under, but we're just going to throw it up there. Seattle averaged 23.2 points per game last year. I'm assuming that everybody's going to go under that, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I'm actually surprised it was that low last year, just for the record. That's
that's crazy.
Wilson was hurt.
Yeah. They missed Russ for a couple of games, but even still, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they finished 16th in the league. Russ broke his whatever it was, his pinky or his thumb in the Rams game, and then he missed 3 games after that. So it was basically
played hurt.
And then played hurt. Yeah, he didn't look like he hit a rhythm until about 3 weeks after he got back. Yeah, that about does it for me with Seattle. There's not much to cover.
Even their defense is a defense. Stay away if you're in a league that has defenses. I wouldn't even touch that defense.
Losing Bobby Wagner hurts, man.
Right. Even an easy matchup, I still don't trust it.
I will say congratulations, since we're going to jump into the NFC West. Congratulations to Aaron Donald on the new contract. Highest paid player ever per average. That's not a QB. I'm glad you're not retiring 8 years into your career. But let's get into the Rams. Yeah, only significant offseason loss was your left tackle. Me and Frankie talked about it. It is hard to breed offensive linemen in today's league, especially a guy that's playing all pro caliber football at 40 years old. I think they have it is crazy. I think they do have a solution for him because you do lock in Stafford for a long time. Huge hefty money coming to him. You get Bobby Wagner, Aaron Donald stays. Next is Cooper Kupp to get paid. But let's jump into it, man. I'm excited about this team in general. Let's start it off, boys. Go ahead and talk about the Rams.
Yeah, I think bringing in Allen Robinson's a huge addition for that team. With Robert Woods leaving last year, that team kind of slowed down on offense. Even with the addition of Odell, him getting integrated into the offense didn't really happen until the playoffs. So I think having Allen Robinson for a full offseason and getting him into that offense and letting him fill kind of that I almost said Cooper Kupp, but that Robert Woods and Odell role a little bit, I think is going to be huge for him in fantasy. I think Cooper Kupp's due for a little bit of regression, obviously, because of the season he had last year. But even if he regresses just a little bit, he's still going to finish as wide receiver 1. And obviously Matt Stafford in dynasties, I think he's still a good buy if you're in a win now type of team. But yeah, I would stay away from that backfield still. I'm out on Cam Akers after his Achilles, and I don't really have anything good to say about Darrell Henderson.
I agree. Interesting note, Odell jumps into the Rams, doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know anything about the culture there in LA. Even in those last 7 games he played, averaged 7.5 targets per game. Actually a decent number for him. Like I said, just jumping into it and not knowing. Then he had a stellar playoff run. Even caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl until he tore his ACL. I think Allen Robinson's a huge buy, especially if you're in a win now mode. I like what Allen Robinson brings to this team. Obviously Cooper Kupp's gonna get peppered. Probably will see 160 targets, but I don't see why it's out of the question that Allen Robinson sees 120. I think that's a good number. I think Allen Robinson's he's a league winner for where you get him at per ADP.
I think that's fair too. I mean, last year was an outlier year for his career. I mean, he's performed with quarterbacks of nowhere near Matthew Stafford's talent his entire career. Last year, I'm hoping it was an outlier year because I'm expecting big things there in LA. Like you said, I mean, if he could fill just that Robert Woods role, I think that'd be very perfect in a fantasy world.
Yeah, for sure. I was getting ready to say, Frankie touched on it a little bit. I know, obviously, Dynasty World, Jamar and Burrow are the number 1 stack in fantasy football. How close are Kupp and Stafford? Because they got to be right there, even with each other. I get the age is a little bit concerning, but that connection's insane. Kupp's so good at finding open space.
Yeah.
I think as long as they're paired up together.
I mean, you got to think that connection's going to be there for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
You got to live in that win now mode if that's what your team is constructed around. I mean, like you said, yeah, age is different. Chase is 22, 23, Burrow is 25. I mean, more people are going to value that combo rather than a 28 and a 34-year-old. But I mean, Kupp came into the league old. I mean, this is his prime. I mean,
yeah, I'd say that's a top 3 to top 5 combo in Dynasty. I mean, I'd say Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey are up there. We touched on last week. I won't get into Kelsey, just saying pass catchers and quarterback combos. But yeah, other than that, I mean, those are probably your top 3 right there. So yeah, Stafford, I'd still say he's a good buy for Dynasty in a win now capacity. And even if you have him and you're not in a win now, you're in a rebuild, I think you could get pretty good value for him.
Just going to toss this right out there. Nothing, just pick one. Stafford and Kupp or Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs?
Allen and Diggs.
Fair.
I forgot about him. That's my bad.
Yeah, I might have got a couple there, but I still think they're up there as far as
I said top 3 to 5. I'd say that's fair.
That's completely fair. I mean, nobody's going to argue that.
And I have Allen it's strictly based off the QB price point in Dynasty. I actually have Cup over Diggs in Dynasty. It's just what Allen sells me at for a price point as opposed to Stafford at this point in their careers. But AJ brings up a good point that I like to talk about. Cup came in the league late, like broke out in the league late. I think there are players that you have to look at their age and doesn't really define where they're at in their fantasy careers. Eckler is a great example as well. Sat behind Melvin Gordon for 3 years. Didn't actually get a full starter's workload until 2019, 2020. He was 25 as a running back when he got a full workload. I don't think Eckler's a age 27 running back. I think there are exceptions to the age rule, and Cup is one of them as well. So I'm all in on AJ having Cup as a top 5, top 3, top whatever. He has him at 2.
He has him at 1.
Yeah, but consensus like top 3, top 5. Foam finger. Yeah, right. Top 3, top 5 guy consensus. I'm fine with that. The age 28 for Cup doesn't scare me nearly as much as it does for Mike Evans.
That's fair. Mike Evans got a lot of miles on him.
Right.
I think the only position we really haven't touched on is tight end. I think Tyler Higbee could be a sneaky buy. If you're not looking to go tight end heavy and early in your draft. I know Pitts, Kelsey, guys like that are going pretty early, and it could scare people at that price point. But I think Higbee could be a good buy late if you're looking to get a solid tight end and stay away from those big hitters early.
Roasted didn't touch at all on Cam Akers unless I missed out on it. But
I mentioned him a little earlier, but I just said I'd stay away from that whole backfield because I don't like Akers off the Achilles.
Hey, if you got him, you gotta keep him.
Yeah, basically. if you can get anything for him, I would get it. But if basically right now, if you got him, you're stuck with him.
There's some people out there buying. You got to fish every person in your league if you got Cam Akers, unless you're one of the people that believe in him.
Ryan, you have him. Ryan, you have him right now.
I have him left in one league.
Would you sell him? I just want to ask you, would you sell him for a draft pick in this rookie draft? Would you sell him for a top set? Like, let's just say 1.7. Would you sell Cam Akers? 1.7
22 pick?
Yeah, 1.7's Olave. Let's just say you get Olave or Jameson Williams. Are you selling him for those 2 wide receivers? Any of those 2?
Williams, maybe, probably not Olave. Even then, I don't know, dude. I still think. Here's the thing. I'm still a little bit of a believer. I mean, he came back too soon. I think we'll see if he can actually do it this preseason, going into the season, even if they let him play preseason. I don't even know if they're gonna let him do that. But I don't know. I haven't given up complete faith in him, so it's a little tough for me.
The only good thing I say about it, from the time he came back, like in the playoff run, and even though Sony Michel was running well down the stretch into the playoff run, he still handles 76% of the team snaps. Only 3 running backs did it last year: Taylor, Mixon, and Derrick Henry up until the point where he got hurt. So he does have that going for him.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and Najee. I'm sorry, and Najee.
But an indication of them believing in him, and also that they don't believe in Darrell Henderson.
At all. I get that. And Frankie, you brought up a good ADP buy, Tyler Higbee, sneaky tight end that offers some value and some high upside weeks. I haven't even seen him go in my startup I'm in now, and I'm in the 12th round. I'm assuming 13, 14 for him, and he probably will put up top 13 numbers.
Oh, he'll put up tight end 1 numbers. I don't even think it'll be arguable. I mean, tight end 1 sounds a little like rich because tight end, every other position you say a 1 at the end of the position, it's crazy. But tight end 1 isn't that crazy. I mean, there's probably only about 5 or 6 that are going to be worth a damn, and then the other 6 probably aren't going to be much more than streamers or guys that have probably 4 good weeks in the whole season. But I think Higbee can easily finish as a top 7 tight end.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's a perfect candidate if you're going to punt the top 5 tight ends and just wait, like you said, Steven, until round 13, even 12, 11, if you want to solidify that tight end at that round. I mean, grab him and another tight end and play matchups, whether you get a Higbee and a Gesicki combo, something like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's a perfect fill-in type of tight
Or you
end.
could do what I did and grab I didn't do this with Higbee, but you could just grab a tight end late and then go Mo Alley Cox and Jelani Woods late, because there's not a lot of people on Jelani Woods or Mo Alley Cox or just the Colts pass catchers in general. So I think if you can grab, like AJ said, if you can grab Higbee and another young tight end or a young tight end stack, I think that's a good worthwhile buy.
I was going to ask you that. Higbee, like just a value check, Higbee or Gesicki. I was going to ask you that question actually.
Higbee
over Gesicki. And what about Ertz? Ertz's values rise a lot, especially with the Hopkins suspension.
Probably Higbee if we're talking dynasty value. If you're talking redraft, I'd probably go Ertz.
Okay, fair enough. So we did this with the Seahawks. So we're going to do this again. Rams are the number 6 offense in the league last year. Averaged 27 points per game. Let's just start it off. I'm gonna say over on the 27. I don't see any significant losses in on the offense except for obviously the Whitworth retirement, and I do think the backfield has to work itself out. But with Sean McVay as your head coach and Stafford and Kupp leading the way with Allen Robinson as the 2, I don't see why they can't put up 28, 4 scores a game.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say over on that as well.
Yeah. I'm smashing the over.
Yeah, easily.
27 to me is a little surprising. I thought they'd be a little.
They easily go over that. I would have never guessed it was that low. That's crazy to me, especially the season Stafford had. That's.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't think it was gonna be that low either. Came in 6.
Just based off of that, what was their rushing rank? Because that had to be the problem.
I'd have to pull that up. Yeah, I'd have to pull that up. I just have their points per game pulled up over their last 3, their home and away splits and things like that. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'd have to pull up the rushing. The rushing was definitely the reason. It wasn't even a bad reason. I mean, they weren't that terrible, but it was. I mean, their passing game. They were phenomenal.
That was their weak spot.
Yeah.
So random stat that I think is kind of fantasy relevant. Matthew Stafford is the 9th best odds to win MVP this upcoming season. I can definitely see Matt Stafford putting together a season where he throws for well over 5,000 yards and puts up over 40 touchdowns in the MVP conversation with a full off season with this wide receiver core, and with this full off season with a healthy running back room. I could see Matt Stafford being in the MVP conversation and drastically overshooting that 9th overall for MVP. I think he could finish as a top 3 MVP vote getter.
Sure. Where did he finish last year? I know he was in the running.
I didn't look that up. I apologize.
Man, Aaron Rodgers just had another Aaron Rodgers year.
Yeah, it was Aaron Rodgers and Brady, so I'm pretty sure and then Jonathan Taylor, if I remember correctly.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? 9th. I mean, I can see it. I mean,
people are smashing that. People in Vegas they just have money like we don't have.
No, yeah, I just know that sometimes those types of things can impact fantasy as well. If you see 8 other quarterbacks or 8 other players above Matt Stafford for MVP odds, you might not think he's going to have that good of a season, and then you might not be as keen to take him in fantasy. But I just think that that could be a realistic smash for Matt Stafford.
You have the odds. You have the people ahead of them.
I didn't pull it up, but I could probably look real quick.
I'm just curious.
We're pulling another Kelsey here.
While he finds that,
no, I'm good. We can move on.
I'm gonna talk about the team with a lot of off-season moves that hurt them as well. From a football perspective, no Chandler Jones, no J.J. Watt. Hopkins suspended 6 games. You did trade a first to get a college, duo chemistry-based type receiver in Hollywood Brown to pair up with Kyler. Draft Trey McBride, lock in Zach Ertz, lock in AJ Green. Not too excited about that. Care less. Lose Christian Kirk. Thoughts on the Cardinals? I'm in a mixed feeling with the Cardinals. I I think Kyler Murray is an elite fantasy QB. So I think he's going to will his way to be a top 10 QB if he plays all 17 games. But nothing that I'm overly excited about, nothing that screams, man, I got to own parts of this offense, except for Hollywood. I like Hollywood.
I don't know, man. I go with the take that, like, you already touched on, the defense got worse in the offseason, which is going to put more pressure on the offense. So they're going to be going out there trying to put up more points, more, like, obviously teams going to put up points on them at this point. So Kyler Murray's going to go out there and score. I'm not going to say I'm higher on him, but I don't think anything really changes for me.
Yeah, same. I'm not really buying much on the Cardinals offense this year. Obviously, Kyler's going to be a QB1. You want to buy in on Kyler, that's cool. James Conner's in for huge touchdown regression. I don't think there's any way he finishes with double-digit touchdowns again. I sent AJ a clip the other day about Marquise Brown. If anybody remembers that Detroit game that the Ravens played last year, where Marquise Brown had like 8 drops in the row and they were almost all wide open touchdowns. I'm being a little facetious with 8, but it was definitely like 4 or 5 drops that were wide open drops. I'm out on Marquise Brown. Yeah, 2 right in the end zone and 2 on the way to the end zone. AJ Green, I mean, if he can do what he did last year, he's a fine flex spy. I liked Rondell Moore coming out of college, but don't really know what he's got going. And Trey McBride's really the only dynasty buy that I see on this team. Yeah, that's about all I would say for the Cardinals. I'm pretty much out on all of them.
Yeah, I'm not really in on the Cardinals as well. Like Deli said, that I don't think they improved, but I also don't think they got worse. They pretty much stayed stagnant. I mean, they lost Kirk, but they added Hollywood, almost same type of player. You're going to get to see the stats. I mean, Kirk put up solid numbers last year, but is Hollywood really going to put up better numbers than he did last year and finish as a low-end wide receiver too? Probably not. Yeah, he has a better passing quarterback, but I don't think it's there. I think they got to do something with the coaching. I think they got to get a fresh coach in there with Kyler. I mean, there's obviously something going on there. We saw a little bit of beef going on early this offseason. I mean, Zach Ertz is aging. James Conner is aging. They don't have a running back behind James Conner that's anything relevant. I'm not really in on the Cardinals at all.
I agree.
That's actually what I was going to bring up. Does anybody have any hope for Darrell Williams to be like a flex buy as like a pass catching running back behind James Conner? Or
I mean, he was solid last year in Kansas City. Again, different coaching. You don't know what they're gonna. You're going from a genius and Andy Reid that can run the ball with anybody. It feels like, but I don't. The offensive line isn't that great in Arizona. It's more, agile offensive linemen because they have to roll with Kyler. I mean, it's different than building an interior line that's built to run the ball up the middle. And Darrell Williams isn't really a sideline to sideline running back.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I think that's tough. I don't like him with Connor. If Connor was ever to go down last year, Darrell Williams won people games when Clyde was hurt. That's just how it is. I think they'll make it work with him. I think he's a decent stash. Definitely a great handcuff.
I agree. I'm probably buying Hollywood more than most of you guys. I think that college chemistry is going to be huge, especially 6 games. He's going to have to find somebody to rely on in those 6 games without Hopkins. I do agree with you that Hollywood has a case of the drops. It has cost him big in his career, especially in that Detroit game. That was awful. But I do have faith in the fact that Kyler has the best deep ball in the league. I will stand by that. PFF also ranks it as percentage-wise, completion percentage on the deep ball. That's what I'm going with. And I think Hollywood will thrive with Kyler again. That's my buy for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. I do think he might have a little bit of an uptick. I don't know when I got cut off because of my fucking connection, but I think he's going to be out there more often. I mean, the defense got worse, so it's like, how does Kyler not better or at least stay the same?
I agree with you. Game script will play a factor into the Cardinals this year as well.
You're not going to disrespect Josh Allen's arm like that either.
Or Russell Wilson.
Or Russell Wilson.
Deep
Them deep
ball
balls are pretty
completion percentage. Kyler has the best deep ball completion percentage in the league. That's what I meant.
All right, do it over the last 3 years.
I'm not Marshall. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Davis Mills is better than Josh Allen. Jesus Christ. But 25.6 points per game in 2021. If negative game script does play in their favor, I could see them pushing for 23, 24. I do think, like I said, I do think this team takes a step back. I agree with Frankie and AJ that this team stayed stagnant and they did not get better. So I'm going to push the under on the 25 and a half.
I'm on the under as well.
Yeah, I'd say under as well, and appreciate getting the credit for Deli's take there.
It's like, what? What happened?
So, Deli, you got the under on the 25.6 or 25 and a half or over? You're fading out on me, bud. Check your audio. You there? You there, bud?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh,
you
got it.
So are you going to go under on the 25 and a half or are you going to go over?
Going over just because game script.
Okay, fair enough.
I was surprised at that to begin with. See, some of these teams, I mean, it's three touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah, I can't see the Cardinals getting that, especially with D-Hop out.
Another point, though, that we don't bring up also is Kyler's got to play 17 games. Well, 16 when he came in, but he's got to play 17 games, bro. Like that's a factor that I wasn't even really thinking about. But, dude.
He misses at least 4 games every year.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about – before we started the podcast, AJ was eating at the fact that Debo's never been healthy ever since South Carolina days. But, goddamn, Kyler's has never played a full NFL season.
Not once.
I mean, I think that's got to come into a factor too as well, Billy. Just bringing that up as well.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
You have to handcuff your quarterback, basically.
Yeah, and that's weird. I don't like handcuffing QBs.
It's wild.
I own Kyler. I have one share of Kyler.
Oh, better hope Colt McCoy is available.
I have no Kyler anywhere, actually.
He is available. I'm sure Colt McCoy is on the way for wire. But lastly, QB controversy. Jimmy G's on your roster with a huge contract. Can't seem to get rid of him. Shoulder surgery, I think, kind of hurt him. You got the young guy you traded up to get. Even though Kyle Shanahan came out and said Mac Jones was the pick. So I don't know. But San Fran, I think Kyle Shanahan ran team is always going to be a strong offensive team. Defense didn't get any worse. They had a pretty solid defense last year. They always do. Debo controversy, but we can jump into San Fran. I personally like Trey Lance in this team with this team better than I do Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G is just a game manager that won games. That's about it. But I think Trey Lance brings an explosiveness to this offense and will bring an exciting new factor into the offense that they don't have.
I mean, Jimmy G is top 5 in winning percentage since he went to San Francisco in the entire NFL.
He is. He wins.
That's not just on him. I mean, that's obviously a whole team. But, I mean, Jimmy wins games. Yeah, he's a game manager. But, I mean, Alex Smith won games too. But Trey Lance, as far as a fantasy aspect, he's definitely going to give you more of a points push than Jimmy G is. I mean, his running game alone will probably outscore Jimmy himself. I mean, I had Jimmy starting in a league last year. I mean, I had to. It wasn't a choice. But there was games where he was giving me, 8-9 points a game, and it was terrible. I mean, you're throwing him out there on hope. Like I said, Trey Lance is getting that in the first half, hopefully. I think they're definitely in the right direction, but the OTAs, the reports that I've seen this year, is indicating that they're struggling with Trey Lance out there right now. I like to think that he's not. I mean, San Fran paid a good bit to get Trey Lance last year. I think they got to be all in on him. Good thing for them they were able to keep Debo and not trade him yet, but we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, Debo was at mandatory OTAs today. He did not practice, so take that for what you want. I am assuming that a contract will get done. I saw a projected contract today, 4 for $100. If John Lynch and them want to keep him, they're gonna have to pay him. But Frankie, I'll let you jump in. I know you're not the biggest Trey Lance guy.
Yeah, no, I think as long as Jimmy Garoppolo is on this roster, I don't think you could really take a shot on Trey Lance. And it doesn't seem like the trade market for Jimmy Garoppolo is on fire right now. I know that's season's still not too close right now, so saying not to buy Trey Lance is probably a little risky, but just haven't seen it. Didn't play at a big college system, didn't have a lot of overly great production out of college either. And then ever since the Niners have acquired him, they've basically done everything opposite that you would think to get him on the field and get him reps. But if you like Trey Lance's talent, I think you got to buy in on Trey Lance's talent early. As far as Debo goes and some of these skill position guys, I think Debo's due for a little bit of a regression, obviously, if he's saying he doesn't want to run the ball. I'm a huge Brandon Ayuk guy. He kind of snake bit me last year, but I think he's in for a big post type sleeper type deal. It was maybe not like wide receiver 1, but I can see him being in that upper tier wide receiver 2 mix this season. Kittle, I'm never going to be a Kittle guy because, again, the injuries. We talked about it with Kyler. Just stay on the field until I see a full season out of Kittle. I don't really want to pay that price for Kittle. But other than that, the backfield, Elijah Mitchell's been getting a lot of good buzz. So, I mean, if you're willing to pay the Elijah Mitchell price, I can see him being a good value because of Kyle Shanahan's offense. But other than that, not too much to be excited about out of the backfield in San Francisco.
Is that a Scamahan? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, he's a scam artist. But yeah, he's a scam artist. He gets you to where you want to be, and then right up to the precipice of that, and then he chokes it away for you. He's a scam artist. He's a choke artist. Get him out of here.
Do you there's a flag, man, on Amazon. I saw it. It's a Notorious. Do you want the 28-3 flag? Like, you want to put that up in your house, or what do you want to do?
Why? What would that do? What happened? What's 28-3 mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
The biggest choke of all time.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. When did that happen? Did that happen during a game that was on television or something?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I don't know.
Maybe the most watched thing of the whole year, maybe.
I must have missed it. I don't know. I might have had something else going on.
I can get you that tape. Don't worry. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was recorded. Okay. Well, I don't know if I want to see it.
But I don't know, man. I'm excited about Trey Lance. There's not a whole lot of tape on Trey Lance, obviously. I want to say it was, 19 career college starts. Not a whole lot of, like I said, not a whole lot of tape. But just like the game prep and like the game IQ he had, North Dakota State does run a pro-ready system. It's not a West Coast style scheme. He does have elite arm strength, and he does have the ability to move. I think if he can put it all together, he can be one of those fantasy buys that turn into, an elite QB if it all hits right and pans out well. I think he plays on a great offense in general. I did want to bring up the fact that Alex Mack did retire, and Laken Tomlinson did end up with the Jets. So some O-line issues to start the year. But I think as long as you got Trent Williams protecting your blind side, you're going to be okay. We hate on Kittle because of the price you got to pay for him in fantasy. I think he is a better real-life football player than a fantasy player at times. But I think Debo and Ayuk is a very underrated wide receiver duo. Frankie said it. I like Ayuk as well. I think this offense, they may struggle year one if Trey gets a full year of 17 games, but I think this team's on the rise in general.
I am glad to go last because I'm about to go against most things all of you said, and I don't want to hear shit. I'm a big Trey Lance guy. I think that fucking Jimmy G is a puppet as a quarterback, and it's all Kyle Shanahan. And with that being said, all said and done, Trey Lance has more skills as a quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo did. Like AJ touched on, he's got great rushing upside. He's going to bring different dynamics to this offense. I'm excited to get him in there, see him work. Shanahan's just such a great coach. It's just one of those things. It's like him and McVay. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. I feel like end of the day, they're going to end up driving down the field. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. McVay did it with Goff before Stafford, just fine. Made it to a Super Bowl. These coaches have the ability to take even an average quarterback and making them great in his schemes. That being said, I'm in on Lance this year. Debo, great. I love Ayuk as a sleeper guy. Like Frankie said, definitely not a wide receiver one, but you can probably depend on him most weeks. All reports saying that Lance's great connection with Ayuk early last season. Didn't get the start all year, but end of the day, they spent all that draft capital on him. There's no shot they're not going to find a way to get him going.
Like I said, I share the Trey Lance love with you. Trey is my second most owned QB in fantasy. I bought in before. I've always under the assumption you have to buy in on guys before they become stars, and I think Trey Lance's overall outlook looks very, very promising. I try to stay away from the OTA reports like AJ and you guys talk about because it just puts a damper on my mood, to be honest. So.
I don't hate Trey Lance's upside per se. I just don't necessarily like what the Niners have done since they've drafted him. Like
I agree.
It just seems like ever since they drafted him, they've done everything in their power to keep him off of the field, which is weird to me. Like you don't do that with the guy you trade all of that draft capital to get. That's just me. I'm not saying I'm right. I just don't understand it.
Now my question,
if I don't understand it, I want to stay away.
I think Trey Lance could have easily did what Jimmy G did last year in the playoffs and more. So, like Frankie said, why are they keeping him off the field? There was times during the regular season where Jimmy G was completely average at best. And they should have been like, all right, this is the time we put Lance in. Like San Fran barely got into the playoffs.
That's just the thing. They put him in and then Jimmy G got healthy and they took him back out. Like, what the hell? Like, that doesn't happen for a third overall pick.
I guess my question to you is,
I just want to point out something real quick, though. I'm not saying he's Mahomes in any meaning in the world, but Mahomes did sit behind Alex Smith for the whole season. Even he was traded up for at a high-end pick, too. I just want to point that out. But, yeah, not saying he's going to be Mahomes, but, I mean, it does happen.
Yeah,
I think that's fair, Deli. I just feel like the Chiefs had an actual plan. It doesn't feel like the Niners have a plan.
Yeah. I get and we talk about the exposure in college, only 19 career starts. Do you think that's a thing too? You know what I mean? Like, you think that can be a thing? Like, this kid's only got 19 starts under his belt. You know what I mean? The talent's there to justify a top 3 pick in the draft, but I'm not ready to expose this kid to the NFL yet. I think he needs time. You know what I mean?
I don't think the number of starts is the problem as much as the production in the starts is. Like, it's not like he was out here lighting the world on fire. He was being productive in an offense that is designed to make a quarterback be productive. So, and he's got talent. You know what I mean? So he did what he was supposed to do in college is what I think. And then I think he got a little overdrafted by the Niners and they kind of freaked out. And now they're trying to figure it out on the fly. That's my opinion. I don't think I'm right. I'm not super plugged into the Niners beat or anything. But it just, from everything I've seen and that the Niners have done, that's just how I feel about Trey Lance.
Sure. I agree with that. The number is set at 17.7 points per game. So I'm going to round it up. I'm going to throw it up to 18 for the San Francisco 49ers. And with Trey Lance, I'm going over.
Gotta be up.
He made the playoffs averaging 17 points per game.
That defense is silly.
Yeah. That says a lot.
But definitely over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I think that's the easiest over. Well, actually, the Seahawks are probably the easiest to choose, but I think this is the second easiest. Let's do it. Let's go over.
Do you guys think they crack 20?
Yeah, I could see them cracking
3
Anywhere
touchdowns.
from 21 to 23.
Think they can outscore the Cardinals?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
I don't see it.
I do.
Out on Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, I don't think that's as bold of a take as anybody or as what you guys would think. I think that collectively the team overall is a better team.
Hell yeah.
Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive minded coaches in the game. I think he can, like you said,
I agree with that.
any QB.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm out on Cliff Kingsbury. I'm not a, you know, what I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna take the overall better system and the better unit in this one.
I just want to say I've been an overall Cliff Kingsbury hater since day one. So
Never
Never left.
Let's go.
never left.
Team fuck Cliff.
Facts. He did nothing at USC. He got a fucking job. That's insane.
He did nothing at anywhere he's ever been. He's literally done nothing but fail
Listen,
up
there's
his
only
whole
We
life.
couldn't win with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
He's handsome and that's about it. Like, get out of here.
Oh my God, Deli, you got the over unders for these wins, and let's pick this division winner for this. I think this is the
Yes.
easiest one we'll pick.
Sir.
I don't know about that.
No, I got the Bucks locked in too. When we
I
talk
was to say. I think that's the easiest one in the
Who's
NFL.
competing with us? There might
Yeah, I was
not
going to
Hey,
say,
Deli, we'll talk about the NFC
whole
South later.
different division now. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll talk about the NFC South later.
Yeah. But no, just touching on it last year. Rams went last year. Just had that pulled up. Thoughts on them repeating the same division? I mean, looking at them as an over/under is one of the top in the league at 10.5 wins.
barring anything drastic. Yeah, not even a question.
Same. Yeah, I see the Rams definitely going over 10.5. I could see them getting to 13, 14 wins easy.
Yeah,
They
as,
Maybe
long
won
as,
not
12
easy, but-
last year.
as long as Stafford's on the field, it's easy.
And what's up with the salary cap, bro? Like, I gotta know. Like, they seem like they break the salary cap.
There's
I
no
don't.
salary cap. It's all a fucking
Salary
scam.
cap is a fiction. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a scam. It's just a made up term.
Yeah. Unless you're the Atlanta Falcons and you have to trade Julio Jones and Matt Ryan at back-to-back off seasons, then it's real. But every other team, it's fake.
It's always the
Oh.
big market, man.
Doesn't make sense.
Deli, what do they have the over unders at for San Fran?
Oh, I'm pulling them up. Pulling it up. Give me a second. Where the fuck are the 49ers even at, brother? Oh, they're at 10 as well.
I could see them going over 10. I'd like more like 11. I don't necessarily think I could see them being in the wild card for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know in the NFC if you need to win 10 games to get in the wild card.
No, I don't think you do. I just think 11 is a guaranteed wild card.
You go 11-6. I mean, how do you?
Yeah, and the NFC, you're walking in.
I think every rookie QB has struggles at points, and they barely got in last year. Granted, I know the scheme is going to be different with them at QBs. I'm going to go under 10.
I got the under.
I mean,
Okay.
for me, the easy answer is to push, but I don't want to take the fucking cop out. I guess I'll just go under. I think they might struggle with Lance year one.
I could see them struggling. I just can see that defense still carrying that team to a successful record.
I don't think it's out of the question that like the Rams are the only team to make the playoffs in that division. I could see that happening, honestly, even in a weak conference. I'm just not that intrigued by that entire team as far as an offensive scheme. They got good players, but they averaged 17 points a game last year with the same group of players. I don't know.
I agree. I'm taking the under on the 10 though for sure.
Fair enough.
Deli, what do you got? The Cardinals.
Cardinals. I'm assuming y'all are all gonna smash the under, but it is a little low. They're at 8.5.
I'd say the under on that as well. I can see them being one of the give me the over. Let me amend that. I can see them getting 9 wins. Yeah, I can see them getting 9 wins, but I don't think they're going to be very
9
good.
and 8.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not out of the question.
the NFC in general is, other than the top 4 teams, is very weak.
Right.
But I
They
mean,
get
like
to
I
play
said,
the Seahawks twice.
8.5. I mean, we're a game.
Ducks right there.
We're a game for San Fran. I think San Fran's better than Arizona. Give me the under.
See, I don't have this problem. I took the over for San Francisco.
Give me the under. It doesn't logically make sense. Give me the under.
Look at the under. I got them at 8 wins, 8 and 9.
Yeah, I'm under 8 and 9. It seems like probably the most. I mean, maybe they can finish worse than that. That's the thing. We'll see. I think
Can you see them losing to the Seahawks twice, or do you see them winning against the
they're going to beat
Seahawks
the
twice?
Seahawks twice for sure.
All right, so now you only got to get to 6 more wins to get to 8. That's crazy. You don't think
they're
they're
going to get swept? They are going to get swept in their
They
division.
do play the Rams twice, and they do play the 49ers twice. I think those are both potential sweeps.
I still think they can get 6 wins out of the rest of that schedule, though. But that's just me. I understand where you guys are coming from. I don't think the Cardinals are good, so you're not catching me like arguing. I just think the NFC's bad, and they have a good quarterback.
Yeah, true. They are
Seahawks, and the Seahawks can't be anything over 5.5.
Seahawks 5.5 is the.
That is exactly what they are at.
5.5.
Smash the under, boys.
They are fifth highest. Or fifth lowest, excuse me, tied with the Jets at 5.5.
See, I think
tells you the barometer where the Seahawks are as a franchise.
I think just because the Jets play in the AFC, I mean, it's going to be tough for them to win games, but I think the Jets are a significantly better football team than them.
Oh, yeah. I think I'd pick the Jets over the Seahawks, but I'd say just take the under on the Seahawks. I think they have
I got the under as well.
Real potential to finish as with the number 1 overall pick between that defense being as bad as it is and Drew Lock being Drew Lock.
You have an argument that fucking Drew Lock should just go 9-7 with a split season. I mean, given as much better defense, you put him in the Seahawks team with a washed up everything at this point. Basically, rebuild mode. The only piece they have left is newly acquired Kenneth Walker and DK Metcalf. So it's like.
And the corpse of Jamal Adams that they might try to trade and get something back for.
I do like Quadri Diggs though. I do like Diggs.
Diggs isn't bad. I did forget about Diggs. I like Diggs.
And I do like the acquisition of Charles Cross. I do like that draft pick right there. Obviously a left.
Yeah, these are all young rebuilding pieces.
Yeah, so for sure. Yeah, it's going to take time. And I do think you are right. I think Jamal Adams will get traded this season. I think that's a huge possibility. I think they really regret that sign and trade. I really do.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Drew Lock probably worst starting quarterback in the league. So give me the under. Obviously, they'll probably be in the top 3 picks.
Yep, I agree. Actually, who's worse, the Seahawks or the Giants?
Giants, baby, we're terrible.
You think the Seahawks? You think the Giants are worse than the Seahawks?
Seahawks are worse than the Giants.
So
have you watched the Giants play?
Yeah, I have.
I watched them play every week. They're so incompetent, no matter what.
I like Daniel Jones more than I like Drew Lock.
I don't Jones more than Drew Lock.
I mean, I don't like Daniel Jones, so don't try to catch me on that take. But I like him more than I like Drew Lock. I
think they have the worst wide receiver group in the entire NFL.
I just want to say I miss Eli.
I think I'd rather have their receiving core than the Lions.
Well, you guys like Tony.
The Lions? No, I'm taking the Lions. I was going to say Green Bay.
Or Green Bay or Atlanta.
Or Chicago.
Or Chicago.
Lions are nice.
Lions are like that.
Yeah, I like the Lions.
The Lions are nice.
St. Brown and Williams.
St. Brown,
Williams literally okay. I like Williams' talent, but come on now, he's never played in the NFL and he's coming off torn ACL. You're going to take him over people who have like Galladay who have actually played in the NFL?
Yes.
Okay. Galladay did nothing last year, sadly.
Galladay did nothing. Shepard's old. Wandale Robinson and Kadarius Toney are literally like the Spider-Man meme, and they're just shifty guys.
I'm just asking you what
Nobody's getting the
NFL
ball.
production Williams isn't at, but we can talk about that later.
I'm gonna put this.
Garbage.
I'm gonna put this bet down though, because the left side of this screen is banking the Giants are worse. I'm banking the Seahawks are worse. Me and Frankie are. I think that's gonna be interesting. I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. So just for future reference.
I'm just a pessimistic Giants fan here. I'm just saying. I mean, I would love.
But you had a phenomenal draft. You had a great.
I think the Falcons are worse than the Seahawks.
We did, but that doesn't do anything for us.
No, I mean, realistically, to keep your QB upright is a huge thing. Yes.
What was phenomenal after the fifth and the seventh pick?
They hit the first round.
Yeah,
two top 7 picks. I hope so.
Yeah.
They fucked it up before.
They didn't take Andrew Thomas, I hope.
But yeah, I'm gonna ride with that. I think the Giants have more wins.
I hope so. The Giants get more than 6 wins, I'll be happy.
Okay. I picked the AFC West to start. Deli, your choice. Who are we gonna lead off with next time?
Ooh, here's the thing. Let me look at it because I might want to do a bad one and get it fucking tossed out the way.
So the NFC South.
I don't want to
the NFC South and the AFC South.
The AFC South is also really bad in my mind too.
Yeah, NFC South and the AFC South are the 2 worst.
But let's just keep it interesting. I want to go AFC North.
Hell yeah, brother. Good one to pick.
Down for that. Let's go.
I like that. So
quick poll though. I think we might be split on this. Trey, in dynasty purposes alone, Trey Lance or Matt Stafford?
Stafford.
I'm going to be the truther I am. I'm going to say Trey.
Yeah, we're split. Okay.
The established QB1 or the guy that they don't want to get the guy on the field.
Or the guy who got pulled off the field for Jimmy Garoppolo last season. I don't know.
I understand. You like to not win now.
I like upside.
Yeah, I like the upside. I think you got to buy into these guys before they become stars.
So to say, what's more upside than winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah. I don't know, dude.
Is Stafford retiring?
No,
I like the overall game that Trey Lance has. Like I said, the elite arm. Hopefully it all progresses or transgresses to the field. The rushing upside, we all know rushing QBs have a higher floor than any pocket passing QB in the league. Granted, they stay healthy because we talk about Kyler, but yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that upside. Even though Jalen Hurts was an awful passer last year, he still finished top 10 as a QB just due to the rushing alone. I think that goes very unnoticed. I think that's a huge upside that Trey Lance has.
Yeah, you touched on my point, but yeah, I just want to say that I don't think Jalen Hurts is the greatest quarterback in the league, but he still finishes the top 10 guy. And Trey's going to take a little bit of time, but I think at the end of the day, you're looking like 2 years in the future. I think Trey might be outscoring Stafford, but maybe I'm wrong. And
yeah, and I think Trey will be a hell of a better QB than Jalen. I do.
Yeah, easily.
I got one little little dynasty question. Which running back are you taking out of this division?
I think the right answer has to be Elijah Mitchell.
Why? Why does it have to be?
I think
he's the only one that's a starter that is also in the second year. I think that's probably the right answer. It's either him or Kenny Walker. I think that's the only two.
He just got surgery. He's 24. He's an older running back. They rotate running backs year in and year out in San Fran.
So I'm out on the Rams, wholeheartedly out on the Rams. Like I said, the Achilles thing I stay away from completely. Elijah Mitchell, like I said, played well last year. Has value. I don't think there's any running back on that team. I don't know a whole lot about the Davis Price boy. I'll be honest with you. I watched a little bit of his tape. Not a whole lot. But Trey Sermon, not that guy. I don't think there's a whole lot of competition there in San Fran. I think Walker is the appealing piece. Can be long term. I think going into 2022 though, 2023, give me Elijah Mitchell.
Give me Walker.
So is there a bet? Is there a bet that Mitchell finishes or Walker finishes ahead of Mitchell year one?
We have enough bets. I think that's a silly bet.
I just want to say, like, you guys saying all these names. If you take away injuries, how is Cam Akers not the best running back in this division?
I mean,
Can't take away
historically, only one running back has been relevant since an Achilles tear, and that's Jonathan Stewart.
All right. I mean, it's in the realm of possibilities. We get better resurgers every year. I think he'll work out.
I'm not like fully out on Cam Akers. I'm just like I'm scared of Cam Akers.
2.3 yards when he came back last year is what he averaged.
He came back too soon. There's no business being out there.
So he didn't let it heal all the way, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's not good. That's not
it's aggravating.
He's not out there now. He's still chilling. He's got a full offseason for that thing to clear up. Obviously, the medical staff cleared him, so it was healthy enough for him to be out there. But technically, should he have been? Probably not, as far as like a health standpoint. But he didn't.
Derrick Henry broke half of his foot in half. He shouldn't have been out there either. But it was for a playoff run. You're a first seeded team. You know what I mean? The Rams, same thing. Like they're in a deep push for a playoff run. Everybody wants to be a part of that. Nobody wants to sit on the sidelines for that. I think it was absolutely stupid to rush Cam Akers back. That he even played in week 18. I think that was stupid.
Right. Two different teams. Derrick Henry is the Titans. Cam Akers is not the Ram.
Right. I know the Titans, they rely heavily on Derrick Henry. You know, I mean, the most touches in the league for running back, but he shouldn't have been on the field either. His foot snapped in half. He should not have been on the field.
Elijah Mitchell's the answer to AJ's question, though. I understand your Cam Akers optimism, Deli. I think if his health wasn't on the table, I think he's the easy answer, and I don't even really think it's that close. I think if he doesn't tear his Achilles last year, he's in the RB1 conversation. But an Achilles tear is terrifying for a running back, and especially one that came back too soon and then kind of aggravated it in the Super Bowl, which was just in February. And so they had a shorter offseason than every other team that we're talking about. So just not somebody I'm willing to take the risk on.
I think it was a good question, though. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think there's one for sure person in this division. I mean,
they're all RB2 and flex options at best, in my opinion.
And props to you. Props to you for getting Jonathan Taylor for Cam Akers in a trade. Frankie, props to you.
That's because there's Cam Akers believers out there.
But like I said, next podcast is going to be the AFC North. Can't wait to get into that one. Very heavily loaded division for fantasy purposes. We'll get the schedules together. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you coming to hang out. Deli, anything you want to say to the people before we roll out?
Yep. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're any here, didn't do about a spiel in the beginning. So if you're still here somehow, thank you. And might as well like and subscribe at this point. And we'll be back soon with another video.
Deli, I just want to say you do need a Cuban chain, bro. You go for the look. But other than that, boys, I appreciate you spending time with us, and we are out.